Meanwhile, President-elect Joe Biden, he's moving forward. He'll be president January 20th, and he's been introducing a team of officials who will implement his pandemic strategy, his health care team. But no one from the Biden team, no one, was present at the White House vaccine summit today, where President Trump signed an executive order about Americans getting the vaccine first. All that raises questions as to how the administration is cooperating with the transition and how it could affect the rollout of a vaccine.
ABC News political director Rick Klein joins us now with more. And Rick, what exactly was this vaccine summit, and why wasn't anyone from the Biden team involved?
Very good questions, Eva. The summit appears to be an effort by the White House to try to give the public a little bit of more information, maybe more confidence in the vaccine production process. It comes just days before the FDA is set to have public hearings on the first of those vaccines under development. But the vaccine makers aren't part of the summit, and it was very, very notable for the absence of people like Dr. Anthony Fauci as well. So it really looks like the strange dueling events today were designed to keep the White House pushing a message that gives President Trump a fair amount of credit for the development of the vaccines, a lot about public information, this executive order that Terry referenced that really is a curious one, because I think the presumption all along is that the American government was purchasing the vaccine for Americans to use first and foremost. So how that fits in exactly with today's announcement and what kind of policy implications it has are unclear, not to mention the fact that President Trump is likely to be well out of office by the time most Americans get anywhere near any of these vaccines.
Well, President-elect Biden did hold an event to introduce his health team today. What do we know about those appointees, and could being left out of the Trump administration's efforts already be putting them at an advantage? He said today he needs the Trump administration to keep this vaccine effort moving forward.
Yeah, some familiar names. I mentioned Anthony Fauci. He is going to be the chief science advisor in the White House and keeping his current role, a role that he has held in some form or fashion going back to the Reagan administration. Adding to that, people like Jeff Zients, Vivek Murthy, who's looking to come back as Surgeon General that he served under Obama. So a lot of familiar names. Javier Becerra, the Attorney General of California, being introduced today. The Vice President, the President-elect getting his name wrong, actually, mispronouncing it. But he's tapped now to lead the Health and Human Services Department, a huge agency. That's a bit of an odd one because he has no healthcare background, but he does have a lot of management background. And I think to the point, Eva, about being cut out of the process, the fact that the Biden team isn't at the Trump event and the Trump team isn't playing at the Biden event is not a good sign for faith in this vaccine and for the rollout. This is going to be a very high stakes handoff that involves a lot of politics as well as a lot of science. So these teams need to be working as closely together as possible, because the vaccine may well be developed under President Trump, but it is going to be administered under President-elect Biden.
And as we've all heard, the logistics for this vaccine, getting it out to people, it is not simple. I want to turn to talk about the election. Today is the safe harbor deadline. What does that mean for President Trump's challenges to the election?
Yeah, so Congress passed this law some 140 years ago to basically shield states against challenges that essentially go on forever. And the law says that there's a deadline 6 days before the Electoral College meets where if a state is able to certify its results, then Congress won't question that when it convenes in January to consider the votes of the Electoral College. We're 6 days out from that Electoral College convening in all 50 states. That happens 6 days from now on the 14th. So that means the deadline essentially is midnight tonight. Now, no fireworks go off. There's no big ceremony or a big acknowledgement. It all just posts at the National Archives website these days. But in essence, it is a deadline for any of the legal challenges, and it's an opportunity for the Biden team and for anyone who doesn't want to see any further examination to point to this and say, look, this deadline has passed. There's no sense litigating it. Now, the Trump team says it doesn't have any meaning, but of course, it is the federal law, and it was a pretty critical one in terms of ending the 2000 election that famously ended so late.
So we'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out on the other side of the evening. I also want to ask you, where do things stand in Congress when it comes to making a deal on this much anticipated and watched for COVID relief bill?
Yeah, it's been a couple steps forward and a few back, and I think there's a lot more pessimism right now today about the prospects of a deal. We've had some negotiations, but they've happened in fits and starts. It's very unlikely now that you're going to see something done under the deadline that Congress had originally set to end by the end of the week. We could be going well into the weekend or into next week before there's a deal. So I still think there's reason to be hopeful, but a lot of holdups on those particulars.
Well, we will hold on to the hopeful part of that. Rick Klein, ABC News political director, thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.